Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast hosted by Rhodey and Diz. The boys will share their tall tales of the one that got away, as well as some regular segments they know all you fishing tragics will enjoy.
G'day and welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast. Dizzy, we're into the post-100 era of the show.
Yeah, look, it's interesting being at 101. This is normally where you have a momentary lapse of judgment. You might think you know where your off stump is, but you let it through and bang, you're gone back in the sheds.
You reckon if we're going off the rails, this is it?
Well, look, I think it's great to get the 100 out of the way. It's good to get another one on the board, but this is generally where either you're seeing them like beach balls and you just race away to 150, then you start thinking about 200, or you're back in the sheds for like 103, 104 and you're done. We
talk a lot of crap about cricket on this show and hopefully everyone's enjoying it, but that's all right.
Let's move on, Rhodey. We've got a big episode today because we've got Josh Bland, who's the newly appointed project research officer for RecFish SA. It'd be great to have him on later in the show. Before we get to that part of the show today, Rhodey, we should get through our oranges and lemons to find out the highlights and lowlights of the fortnight that was.
Yes, Diz, we should. I will get you started with an orange. We took Lil out on the boat on Saturday of the long weekend off Warina.
Loved it?
Loved it.
Wow.
About an hour, 10 minutes, which is pretty good for a almost 2-year-old, I thought.
Yeah, do you sort of just put her in the boat like basically every night so that she just builds this just absolute love for fishing?
You should have seen me trying to drag her out of the boat to put her in a shower today. She was not having any.
Happy.
Actually, I don't want to steal your thunder because you're probably going to talk about KI in a minute, but she's allocated seats for where everyone's going to sit on KI. And I got bad news for you, mate.
On the boat?
Yeah.
Where am I?
You and Shads are up the front.
Oh, no.
like in under the front of the boat.
Oh, right. Okay, so we don't get to see the view.
You don't get a seat.
Yeah, right.
You're in the cave at the front of the boat. Oh, well,
good thing I don't get seasick. Millie does.
I'm driving. Ned gets the passenger seat.
Oh, where's Lucy?
And Lucy and Lil are on those like fold-out seats at the back.
At the back, right. Okay, just loving the ride.
Lil's never sat on those seats, but she's adamant she's sitting there on KI.
Wow.
Anyway, it was good to get her out, good to get her on the water for an hour or so. And, she went really well. Loved the life jacket and all that.
Very good. Yes, well, my orange, Rhodey, is we are getting ourselves organised. This is the anticipation for those trips that we talk about time and time again on this show, Rhodey. We've got KI for a week. We're looking forward to it. We'll do a bit of a preamble probably a bit later on in today's show, but that is 100% my orange for this episode because it is – the excitement's building, you're counting down the days, you're just sort of ticking the right boxes at work to get you through for the rest of the week. And, it's a real case of gearing up now for KI.
And talking about gearing up, Diz, you've only got to look around the podcast studio and we've got bloody fishing rods, bags, drones charging.
Actually, you should seriously take a photo of this because this is all the gear but no idea.
Unorganised edition. There's crap everywhere.
There absolutely
We've got boxes of this and that and who knows what.
Right, Rhodey, what's your lemon?
Dizzy, so we did. We took Lil out on the Saturday. Sunday was the pick of the weather. Got her looked after in the morning. Me and Lucy went out fishing. We went from Warina. We went to Cape Jarvis. We saw zero tuna. We did go for a look at some kingfish on those lumps out there, Diz, and we pulled a donut on them too. So we came home empty-handed. And that's now 2 trips in a row, Diz, that we have not done any good.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd love to say that I was the lucky charm, but I wasn't on the last trip either. So we're staring down the barrel of a double. Well, we've had a double donut.
We're in a slump.
We've got to work our way out of this slump, mate.
We were going all right on the kingfish early. Still haven't pulled a tuna in this year, but our luck has turned. But anyway, we're going to KI and we'll turn it around over there.
Yes, yeah, that's right. All right, Rhodey, my lemon. Look, there's no doubt. I think most people would probably know that you're the brains behind this podcast in terms of doing most of the social media, most of the sort of prep work leading into these episodes. I'm not going to sort of pump up your tyres too much, but you do a fair bit.
So what are you here for, the looks?
I'm not sure I'm here for the looks, but my lemon was I was running a little bit behind today for our episode, got held up, and I got in. You didn't even have a bloody cold beer sitting at the pool table, mate.
Dizzy, do you know
what is this?
Do you know the etiquette of podcasting? We have the beer during this bit.
This is a disgrace. We had the guest on first. We recorded Josh. Not that we want to let there's too many sort of insider secrets about how we go about this podcast. Not that anybody probably really cares, but you didn't even have a bloody cold beer for me for that segment. Disgraceful.
Anyway, I've got your seat ready. I've set up the laptop. I've got everything ready. I've done the sound checks on my own, and you've still found something to complain about when you walked in 5 minutes after our relocated time.
Yeah, that's right. There's always room for improvement, Rhodey. There always is. Rhodey, give the listeners a bit of an update on the merch. You sort of got the stock. Have you done a stock take yet?
Yeah, we've done a stock take. There are a few T-shirts remaining. Get in contact if you would like one. Selected sizes only. But if you are keen for one, we will put through another order as demand requires. Is that the word?
Yeah, I think demand requires is probably the word you're looking for.
So
a couple of grey caps still knocking about.
We've still got grey caps and we've still got beanies. We've fully sold out of stubby holders at the moment, and we've fully sold out of navy caps. But yeah, get in contact with us, dears. $40 for a T-shirt, cheaper for the kids.
Love it, Rhodey. All right, and we're going to get cracking. Next episode, we'll be releasing some more details about our monthly photo comp, but that's going to be up and running with some great prize packs from Shimano. That'll be one to look out for next month. But without further ado, Rhodey, let's get into the news.
Rhodey and Diz have been searching far and wide to bring you the latest news across all fishing in the state, and we'll give you the rundown on what you need to know.
Righto, Rhodey. First news story is, of course, something that we have covered in the past episodes, Rhodey, and that is the West Beach boat ramp closure. We have expressed our frustration about this. I know that there's been a lot of others who have done so as well. We've been grateful for the work done behind the scenes by RecFish in regards to advocacy to allow limited use of the West Beach boat ramp. But reminder to everybody that there is restricted access between the 24th of January and February 11. Am I getting those dates right?
They are, Diz, and that's from 5:30am to 5:30pm on those days. It's to do with the International Laser Class Association World Championship Regatta. You can still go out, but you do need to jump on the website at westbeachparks.com.au and be one of a maximum of 50 recreational boat users who register online with a ticket to use the boat ramp on those days. It looks here like the tickets sold out for the long weekend, but I think there's spots available on the rest of the days there, Diz, and it mentions on this website here some of the other options that you can launch at. I don't know whether you saw that North Haven was chaos on the weekend, which is no surprise.
Well, I think they were all chaos.
So obviously taking West Beach out of action is going to have a flow-on effect on all of those boat ramps.
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't worry, guys, we've got a mate who's into sailing, Matty, and we've been getting into him about that.
Oh, yeah, we have.
He keeps trying to justify that, they need it for this and that, and we said, look, mate, we don't care.
Yeah, we actually don't.
There's like 360 or 70,000 RecFish shows.
And how many people have you
How many people sail?
Seen? No one
sails.
Have you heard of an outboard? Full stop. Get over it.
Sorry to anyone who sails and fishes.
No, I don't mind
we're not a big fan.
Rhodey, Cape Jarvis ramp. Is it open? Is it closed? What's the deal? Is the sign up as you pass through in a ramp there just to sort of spook off a few people from not using the Cape Jarvis ramp? When can you launch? When can't you launch? Come on, fill us in.
It is that one of life's great questions. We've literally had a mate message us in the last 10 minutes saying, I want to go out Saturday. Is the Cape Jarvis boat ramp open? And we said, look, mate, we would love to know. What we can tell you is there is still the sign up at Warina. It's still free parking at Warina, saying that that's free parking while Cape Jarvis is out of action. I know for a while there it was daylight hours only, and I think that's still what it says on the website, does it, Diz?
Yes, I believe so. So I think it's closed from the hours of 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. and that's for dredging. Whether outside of those hours it's open slather, you can use it as you like, or whether even during those hours there's just one lane instead of two. We really don't know, Rhodey. This is one of those times where you might need to risk it to get the biscuit. If you want to go down there, you might try your luck. Who knows, mate? We don't have the answers here.
We did have someone tell us that on Saturday they launched at 7 a.m. and there was already plenty of trailers in the boat ramp in the car park. So they'd obviously gone out before 7. So maybe it's one of those, if they're not actively working on the boat ramp at that very minute, you can launch, but it's sort of try your luck sort of thing.
Do you think they're dredging on a Sunday of the long weekend?
Look, probably not.
Maybe that's what happened.
So anyway, I don't know. We were out fishing on Sunday, as I said, and there were plenty of boats coming out of Cape Jarvis, and I reckon some of them did come out before 7 a.m. But look, it's still a bit of an unknown.
Are we calling that a news story? Because we've actually probably just posed a question more than we have given anybody information.
Look, it's not the first time we've had more questions than answers on this show.
Rhodey, there's a Carp Frenzy coming up. This is, of course, the 2024 SA Carp Frenzy. There is some information on their socials, which has been posted recently. Rhodey, fill us in, mate. This is the one at Barmera.
It is, Diz. So registration's Friday the 1st of March. The competition is Saturday the 2nd of March. You can register online. You'll find it on Facebook. You can Google it, all those sort of things. There's plenty of competitions for adults, kids, all sorts of different things. Great to get some carp out of the water. There's also some cool novelties. I can see a carp toss. I reckon that could be my go.
Do you reckon that's a bit of a take on the tuna toss?
I think it is, and that doesn't happen anymore, Diz.
No.
So this could be South Australia, maybe even Australia's best fish throwing competition.
We don't want anybody tossing them back into the river, though.
No, don't do that. That's at the footy club on 4 p.m.
And I think if you were down there, you'd probably be able to toss a carp from the footy club.
I can throw a carp a long way, mate. And then the presentations are from 5:30. So if you love catching carp, if you've got nothing on the 2nd of March, get up to Barmera and get involved in doing some really great work at Lake Bonney. They take a heap of carp out. It's a great community event. So it's one we always get around.
Love it, Rhodey. Very good. Now, that just about wraps up the news segment for today. We didn't have... Well, actually, we do have a little bit of news that has been released on member for Narunga Fraser Ellis's Facebook page. That is, of course, the Marion Bay boat ramp upgrade.
Yes, Diz, what do you got for us? It's in the pipeline?
It is in the pipeline. There's been some government funding secured, and there is now plans for that to go ahead. I think most people who frequent that area or have a keen interest in that ramp would know that, but it is a ramp that does need some upgrading. It's not a difficult ramp to launch if you've got some experience and the weather is playing the game. But no doubt if there's a bit of a swell knocking through and the weather's blowing, it wouldn't be a particularly easy ramp to navigate. So it's good to see that that's being improved, Rhodey.
Yes, it is. It's good to hear. And I think that is due to start next month, so sometime in February, I believe. And a contractor has been appointed and they are just waiting for final approvals is the latest update we've got.
Yeah, what I'd really like to know is whether the boat ramp is going to remain open while they are building the new ramp, or whether there is an upgrade to the existing ramp and that will lead to restrictions placed upon it.
Dizzy, you just gave us a hard time about having more questions than answers, but you've posed a question rather than providing any news.
Is this a news segment or a question segment?
All right, let's finish on that note.
Let's finish on that note. I agree. Rhodey, it's time for the tackle item.
Now it's time for Rhodey and Diz to really show you what it means to have all the gear with a lot of idea as they review a tackle item of the week.
This is a good little one for everybody out there, Rhodey. This is, of course, the tag pole that we're going to be talking about in today's tackle item of the week, which we do have one, of course, on our boat. We will hear a little bit later on today from Josh, the newly appointed project officer with RecFish. He's going to be talking about a bit of a tagging sort of program, if you will, that's coming up. So this is timely timely tackle item of the week, Rody.
And Diz, you've purchased us a brand new one for this trip. We did have an old one that was sort of no good, so we've upgraded, Diz.
We have upgraded. We've gone.
Tell us about it.
So we've got the Hookem aluminium handheld tag pole. It's a short one. It's not those big, long, lengthy tag poles that you might need for those hardcore game fishing style of situations, but it's a great lightweight and durable aluminium tag pole. This does have, basically there's a screw cap on the butt of the tag pole which stores the 3 tag heads. They are, of course, used for sharks, tuna, and some pelagics like kingfish. And then there's another one there for large billfish. I don't think we'll be using the large billfish one anytime soon, Rody. It's fair to say.
Oh, we might go on a holiday. You never know.
You do never know. It's good to have it.
Certainly not on KOR.
No, but it's nice to have them stored in the butt of the tag pole.
That's a good feature because I know that we would lose them otherwise.
Yeah, well, they're little. They're like look, best way to describe anybody who doesn't know what the tag heads sort of look like, they're sort of like the needles that you use to pump up footies.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah.
And if I know anything about those bloody needles that you use to pump up inflatables, footies, so on and so forth, those things go missing or they get bent if they're put in the wrong spot.
They certainly used to go bent. I think these look a bit sturdier though, Diz.
They certainly are sturdier. They need to be because they generally will get sort of quite forcefully pushed into the back of a fish so that the tag holds there for the citizen science that we love. But, nifty little feature to be able to store them in the butt.
And Diz, it's probably something that we've talked about doing more than we've actually done, but we have said on recent times, and we have been off Cape Jarvis releasing some of those kingfish that we love to catch. We should really be tagging them, and that's what prompted us to get a new tag pole.
Yeah, we should, Rody. You're absolutely right. We certainly want to encourage anybody who enjoys that style of fishing to partake in the citizen science, get yourself registered, get the tags, organise yourself a bit, and basically just get amongst it because there's plenty of people out there who are willing to share information. We've been very fortunate to come across a number of people who have shared information with us, Rody, and we're very grateful for that. But it does feel good putting a tag in a fish and seeing it swim off safely, doesn't it?
It does, Diz, and we do fairly regularly on this podcast talk about some of those really cool recaptures all across the country, fish that have been tagged locally and they've gone to New South Wales or Victoria or anything like that, and that'd be really satisfying if that was a tuna or a kingfish that you tagged that turns up in some odd location.
Yeah, good point. Good to have.
Yeah, all right, you've really killed the vibe there, haven't you?
No.
I'm not sure what he's losing it about here. Anyway, guys, that is the tackle item of the week. I think we should wrap him up because he's giggling over there at something.
I've lost it.
Let's move on. I don't know what's happening. All right, Diz, we are going to move on to our guest now. Josh is newly employed at RecFish. He's a great fisho. We've seen him out there catching fish with Josh Davey over the years. And let's hear what he's got to say about what all the things going on at RecFish.
Now it's time to get our guest on the line. We'll ask them the all-important 5 questions, then chat all things fishing in SA.
Rody, we are very lucky to be joined tonight by Josh Bland, newly appointed project officer for RecFish. We are very much looking forward to having a chat with you, Josh. How are you going? Thanks for coming.
I'm going great. Thanks, guys, for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
Beautiful, Josh. Now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the new job and all things RecFish in a minute, but we're going to start off with our 5 questions. And firstly, tell us about your best fish.
Well, it's one of those things. It's trying to pick your favourite child, right? It just doesn't happen. But I'm going to change it to the most memorable one, and it's one of those fish that many people once upon a time worked really hard for, and that was the first Murray cod that I got in the Murray River. And so that took me, I think, 3 days on this particular trip in the middle of the winter, camping alongside the river to finally get it. And it was on the last day in the morning, and it came off of a troll along a cliff on the smallest snag it was literally like a stick sticking out of the cliff, and it was sitting on that. And it wasn't a big fish by any means, but I haven't had that feeling again where a fish comes up out of the water, out of the cloudy water, and you go, wow, I actually see one in the flesh, because at the time, until they were stocked in the reservoirs, this was like such a elusive animal for a lot of people. And yeah, that was pretty memorable for me.
And what size was it, Josh?
Oh, I didn't measure it. I just went, oh, sick, awesome. I mean, that's great. If I was to guess, it was probably around the 70 mark. Yeah. Nothing crazy, but it was, I was just like buzzing as soon as it came towards the carp. Of course, you couldn't take them out of the water or anything. So I was like, nah, too hard. See you later. Get on your way.
These kids have got it too easy. I went to the RecFish Day, what was that, probably 3 or 4 months ago down at Happy Valley, and there were kids that had never held a fishing rod, never caught a fish, pulling in their first fish, and it was like an 80-centimetre Murray cod.
100%. It's crazy, isn't it? And I mean, I took my my niece there the other day, and the whole cheese thing is spinning me out. I'm like, this is back in my day. I'm 24 years old, but back in my day. So yeah, it's incredible, but it's great that it's happening, because it was just amazing how accessible it is now for particularly young people. And she was beaming, and I'm like, you need to settle, because it's never this easy. Fishing's not this easy.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a bit dangerous. Like when you take people down there for their first fish as being that, it's like, geez, how do you back that up? Because, it really isn't that easy. So, it's a bit,
you're setting a high standard.
Yeah, absolutely. It's wonderful that we are able to tap into that, and some great days down at the Resis chasing those beautiful fish, as you say. Josh, tell us your favourite thing about fishing, mate.
Well, for me, it's always been about, it is an outdoor activity, obviously, and it's my easily accessible connection with nature. And so, you have a lot of people who go hiking and do that sort of thing. But I think for a lot of us, it really brings us in touch with our natural systems, and whether that's just from the biological side with the fish themselves, or whether it's the environment. I mean, like, fishermen are going to be the people to first tell you when the climate feels a little bit different year to year, or what the tide's doing, all this sort of stuff. I think it really helps us, it's that kind of meditative practice, and brings us in touch with our natural world a bit. So that's the thing I love about it in particular.
Yeah, beautiful. Like many of our guests, it's not about the fish you catch, it's about the what you learn and what you do apart from the fishing.
100%.
All right, mate, what's your first fishing memory, or what got you into it?
Well, I had to think about this one, because I was always raised to, go fishing with Dad. He was a keen fisherman. He came from England and was just fully into it, and brought all of his kids up doing it. And probably my first memory was down at the Coorong, and this is like a figment of my imagination almost. I think there's a photo to prove it, but there's me holding a mulloway at like 3 years old or something that would have probably been, I don't know, 35 centimeters, something like that. But yeah, it was just interesting that is probably my earliest memory of fishing that I can think of.
Yeah, awesome. That's really good, and it's one of those things, isn't it, Rody? We hear a bit about some of those things that you pass down through generations, the love of fishing, isn't it?
And it's often not the biggest fish, and it's often almost, I know I've got similar, and I know you do at your parents' place, Dizzy, like photos that you almost remember the photo more than you actually remember the moment.
Yeah.
Don't you? Like, you've got some pictures of you catching snap with your old man, and I know there's pictures of me holding a redfin, and I can't actually remember the day, but you remember seeing the photo when you were young.
Absolutely.
I reckon that's exactly, I think even actually recall, they can have been implanted. Memories are fake. Who knows what happened? I think it's just I've rewritten it because of the photo. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Now, Josh, tell us your favourite sort of fishing and why.
Well, I'm pretty fortunate in that I've been able to dabble in just about everything, and I do just about everything. So, of course, it changes season to season, but I mean, at the moment, there are two techniques that I just really, I don't know, it just makes me smile when I do it. I really enjoy doing them. And so the first one is tuna on poppers, because there's just something about them charging at a popper on the surface that makes you just giggle, and it's incredible eats that you get from those. So that's my favorite for summer. But a recent thing that I've sort of been playing around with is fishing for Murray cod with skirted jigs. And, I don't really see anyone doing it. And it's just a really fun method because you see all the bass guys in the United States and they do the big old bass strike and that sort of thing. It's very similar. It feels so similar. It's really cool. So, yeah, that's my current sort of favourite thing to be doing.
Beautiful. That's two good answers there. The Murray cod stuff's really interesting, and Dizzy's a bit different to you. He doesn't want to actually catch a tuna on a popper. He just wants to get a photo of a tuna on a popper. Don't you love trying to get that photo?
Yeah, epic. Absolutely. Love to. Righto, Rhodey. So we've got one more for Josh, don't we? The funniest fishing story, or tell us about the one that got away.
Yeah, I was going to tell you a story about the recent kingfish disaster that I've gone through because I still haven't landed decent kingfish. But the one that's actually more painful, I think, was it was a year or two ago. We were out on I was volunteering on a research project looking at tuna. What was it? Their feeding and movements. Yeah. And so we were just trolling them up and bringing them on board and doing the certain sampling that you have to do. And while we were messing around with one of the small tuna that we had on the boat, it was flapping down there doing the sampling, I saw on the sounder that there were these massive lines underneath the boat. I went, I'm not doing anything right now. I'll chuck a jig down. And so I swapped over to the jig, dropped it down, and just hooked up on what I thought was the bottom, and then it moved. And it's just one of those moments where you're like, oh, no. Oh, no. And after, 5 minutes of me messing around, someone filmed me doing it. So I know from seeing the footage, I was like, what are you doing, man? You're not finding it properly at all. It was just miserable. So no wonder it ended in disaster, because it eventually did a final run, pop, gone. And I'm still to this day like, was it a shark? Was it a big tuna? I don't know which one I'm more comfortable with. It was just, I had to sit down for a bit. I had a little bit of a sulk after that. Do
you get yourself in trouble when you're supposed to be doing research and you get a quiet minute and then next minute you're holding everyone up to try and land a fish?
No, everyone was pretty keen on it. They were like, oh, get it up. This sounds awesome.
Fair enough.
It's really cool being out with people who don't normally fish, and so they're excellent scientists. And then they're like, "Oh my god, this is so fun!" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is great. This is why we all do it." It was just so cool seeing their faces once you hook into a big fish like that. And they're like, "Oh my god, this is like serious stuff."
Yeah, beautiful. Putting your two loves together, Josh. Now you're going to tell us about that next. Tell us about the job at RecFish. You are combining your background and your study with something that you love. Can you tell us about the job?
Yeah, so I only recently got brought on. So at the start of this year, it kind of became official, but the entire idea was to kind of help out Asher with his massive workload and start taking on a few projects. And so in particular, the sort of citizen science stuff and communication with our rec fishers is sort of what is at the forefront of my mind at the moment. And what I'm really trying to go for is bringing delivering on projects as a scientist and as a recreational fisher. I think trying to merge all those worlds together would be really that's my vision for it. But yeah, so I've kind of just got a couple of projects at the moment that I'm working with. One of them I tried to get, I tried to see if I'd be able to talk about today, but I was told no. So that's going to have to wait for a bit. But the clue is kind of in my answers that have already gone past. One of the species that we're working on is in what I've been talking about. But yeah, the current sort of thing that's most pressing or relevant to everyone at the moment is, we're about to have a lot of tuna fever with the tuna competitions coming up. Mm-hmm. And so the tuna industry has actually partnered with us to fund a bunch of tags as part of a tuna tagging program. So we have 5,000 tags that's been purchased by them for us to distribute at these different tournaments. So we've got the Coast to Coast, the Port Lincoln Tuna Classic, and the Warina Tuna Slam. And so we're going to be at each and, supply tags for people to be tagging, ideally smaller fish, because the entire purpose of this project is, first of all, to get all of our RecFishers on board with the whole citizen science thing, get involved. I really think that's important to have them, have like all of us part of that. But yeah, the main reason for doing it is to sort of get an idea of what their movements are in that smaller size range, because we don't fully understand them at the moment.
Yeah, epic. That sounds really good. We're hoping to fish at least 2 of those comps, aren't we, Rody? So that'll be fantastic to see that all unfold, and we certainly are looking forward to hearing more about that. Josh, thank you very much for the little sort of inside scoop, if you will, about that. So that's brilliant. Mate, tell us, you did there was a great introductory video, I thought, the other day on the RecFish socials. But for anyone out there who hasn't listened, tell us just a little bit about your sort of study and a bit about your background that kind of led to the role for you.
So I started with doing a marine biology and aquaculture degree. And so, that was just through my passion for fishing, and that's what led me down that path. And then when I finished, it was right around the time that COVID kicked in. And so I was pretty burnt out by university at the time, and then the opportunities for employment were, not excellent at the time. And I didn't really have a vision for what sort of honours project I wanted to do. And so for those who are not aware, an honours project comes after your normal 3-year degree usually, and is like your specialist like research project for a year. And so nothing really jumped out at me at the time. So took a bit of a break. I've always had a passion for paleontology, or like working with fossils. And so my indecisiveness led me back to go and do a degree in paleontology to see if that's where I felt my career was going. And ultimately, whilst I really enjoyed it, and there's nothing that I didn't necessarily like about it, I just didn't feel like that was going to be the career for me. And so I did do an honours project related to that, which was specifically working with, and well, it's still kind of ongoing at the moment. We're just wrapping up that paper now, but it's focused on lungfish that are 400 million years old and looking at the biomechanics of their jaws. So that it's like completely different to fishing related things.
Yeah, that's niche, right?
Right. Like no one else. We've got a very small community in the world doing this, as you can imagine. Not everyone cares about the lungfish. But yeah, it was. I think that was really good to do. It's kind of set me up with that sort of the ability to do proper research projects and manage that sort of thing. And so when I come out of that and then straight into something like this, it's pretty cool to switch tack from research, like projects related to research and thinking about all that sort of stuff, to how can we apply science to do like real world functional things that can benefit all of us, whether it's RecFishers or just the community or the fish alone. Like I have this very strong opinion that we should be, I just like conservation. And so I want that to sort of be part of whatever we can do. So yeah, it's like mixing of all the worlds. I'm loving it. It sounds great.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, it's all come together, and you've ended up in a really good spot, Josh. So well done on that. Now, the next bit we wanted to talk about is the yellowfin whiting stocks. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been struggling on the yellowfin whiting a little bit. It's been a little bit of a weird start, and so from what I'm hearing, it seems that that's like a common theme, and to the point where we're starting to get a bit concerned about it. And so on the 5th of Feb, SARDI will be hosting a consultation meeting with various stakeholders to sort of get the broad opinion of what's happening with the state of it all. There's potential for it to probably not be excellent, but that's what this conversation is all about. I'm hoping that the state of the stocks is good, and it's just a matter of climate shifts or whatever that are not leading to a very productive time. or maybe it is productive for some people. I think that's what it's all about. Basically, they're just going to be having a meeting to sort of work out what the state of it is, and I'm pretty eager to hear what the outcomes are from that.
You know what my prediction is, Diz? I reckon the outcome is going to be Shane Mensforth catching all of them and everyone else is struggling. He seems to still put up plenty of photos, but you do see plenty of others sort of saying that they're not in the numbers that they once were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the outcome is.
Yeah, it'd be good. We'll keep our ears close to the ground on that one, Rhodey, and it'd be good to see what happens there.
It will. Now, Josh, we wanted to ask you about another summer species that's been a bit slow this year. What about the southern bluefin tuna? Have you got a theory on that, or what do you think's leading to a bit of a indifferent start to the tuna season?
Yeah, well, I've just been looking at the sea surface temperatures, and they're just not quite up, are they? I mean, that Bonney upwelling is still very strong down off the east coast of KI. But that's carried all the way. I mean, I'm sure all the diehard tuna fishers are well aware of this, but they've pretty much just got this invisible gate between KI and Eyre and York Peninsula, where it's just like, nah, they're probably swimming along thinking, well, this is not feeling the way it's meant to, and so they're just blocked by this these colder waters. So I know that some people have been catching them over the York Peninsula sort of way, but they're not in the numbers that we'd expect from this time of year, I suppose. And I think it's just because you've got a few that slip in when the water's warm enough for them to realise that they can come on through. But it does seem that most of them are sort of isolated to West Coast at the moment.
Yeah, excellent. It'll make for an interesting time over the next sort of few weeks to month, really, for those two comps that you mentioned earlier. They might be a little bit harder to find this year, we'd think, don't you reckon?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I really hope that those temps kick up over the next few weeks, but it could potentially be a bit of a struggle. I mean, I'm never going to profess to be a tuna expert, but yeah, that does seem to be the sort of lay of the land at the moment, which is a bit unfortunate. But this also might mean that we end up with a longer season pushing closer to winter. I'm just not really sure, but it'd be cool to see,
You're an optimist, Josh. We love it. So is the water that comes out of the Bonney upwelling just colder? Is that the story?
Oh, sorry, what was that?
Like the Bonney upwelling is colder water, is it? Is that the story?
Yeah. So
it's just where the colder water comes from there and then spreads across the state, which is leading to this colder water right up to Victor Harbour, yeah?
Yeah, roughly. And so, I mean, for those who are not aware of what upwelling is, that's just your deep bottom water that is colder than the rest that's being pushed up. And so that's usually excellent for, your bait fish and smaller species, because it's just filled with carbon and good little food morsels for these smaller bait fish and things. So you get a lot of productivity. But as we can kind of see at the moment, colder water and tuna doesn't always mix terribly too well.
Yeah, that's it. It'll be interesting to see what happens, like you say, and it'll be, we'll all be loving watching it unfold. I'm sure it hasn't stopped any boats from getting out there. We've witnessed that firsthand. There's still plenty of people out there chasing them around, so that'll be good. Josh, we should give your fantastic Instagram handle a bit of a plug. JB Angler, you do very well. I know that you fish a fair bit with a guest we've had on a couple of times, Josh Davey, but you guys do very well on the fish, and I think it's safe to say you've just clearly got a passion for it, mate. You do a bit of this, a bit of that, and a bit of everything. Is that fair to say? You just love it all round?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very thankful to have met Josh in university, and I think he was part of the fishing community pretty strongly at that point, and I think in a lot of ways he's trained me up in a lot of these different techniques and different species, and so I'm forever grateful for that. But yeah, we love it, and we come from that always have that science perspective and really wanting excellent thriving populations of fish in our seas, and if we can hybridize that with happy recreational fishers, then I'm stoked. But yeah, I love every bit of it, and so yeah, you'll be seeing me doing plenty of it for some time.
Beautiful, Josh. Well, we've touched on a lot today, and it's been really good to get a first-hand look at what's going on on with RecFish and the science side of it all. I think it's great that they've put someone on in your position, and it's a real step in the right direction to put a bit of a research spin on the rec fishing.
That's awesome. No, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Awesome, mate. Thank you for coming on the show. I'm sure Asher will be very happy to have you on board. We know how full his plate is, so we are looking forward to you both and, of course, the wider RecFish team on continuing all the great work that you guys do for everyone out there. So thank you very much for coming on the show, and we'll be sure to keep in touch.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And thank you for all you guys are doing. I mean, you're doing a fantastic job with this podcast. I'd love you to keep it up.
Great to have Josh on, Rody.
Diz, he's got a good gig, doesn't he?
Oh, he's got a great gig. He's got a sort of got his head screwed on.
He makes us jealous. He catches plenty of fish. He gets to talk about, get involved in fishing for his day job.
Yeah. We love it.
But no, that was informative. Diz, interesting about the slower yellowfin whiting and tuna seasons.
Yeah, no, it's good. Good to hear from him. We're very much looking forward to seeing what he gets up to in the RecFish world, and we'll be sure to be reporting on it each week in the news, Rody.
We will, Diz. All right, let's get into our fishing report.
Rody and Diz have been out on the water to bring you the news about where they're biting. Now it's time for the fishing report.
Rody, I'm hearing very scattered and mixed reports of tuna. So we'll occasionally see some, got a few tuna off Warina, got a few tuna off Victor, got a few tuna off Yorks, but nothing has been like firing.
Yeah, I'd say by scattered we mean down on average.
Yeah. Good call.
Yes, some people are getting them.
Yep.
Are the majority getting them? I'd say definitely not.
Yeah.
The sure sign for me is the amount of charters that are putting up pictures of fish that are not tuna.
Yeah, okay. Good call.
So I think when the charter boats aren't getting them every day they're going out, they're probably going to be pretty hard for Rex to get.
Yep.
Not to say you can't get them, but you could easily go out 5 times, get nothing, get them on your 6th.
Yeah.
Or you could go out and get lucky.
Yeah, I think so. Because, look, there's been times in the past, this time of year, clearly the time of year does change. But you'd say roughly, certainly the last few years, this time of year, if you go out off Victor, the weather's playing the game, get back to the ramp, you're probably saying more people than not are getting at least one.
Yeah, with the exception of last year when the floods and the Goolwa mouth played a bit of havoc with it. And obviously this year the Bonney upwelling is causing dramas. So don't know, is this global warming? Is this the new norm? Diz, I do not know, but let's hope we get some normality because we've got tuna comps coming up and I know all the organisers are desperately keen for the tuna to turn up.
Yep.
Probably the only good thing for us is I think if anywhere is firing, it is the Eyre Peninsula.
Yes, so that'll be good. We are very much hoping that they do start firing for those well-known comps that are coming up over the next few months, Rody. Let's move on because there are some kings being caught off Cape Jarvis. They're relatively hard work. They have been getting an enormous amount of fishing pressure. We do want to remind people that it's not a good look to be catching snapper and not releasing them properly. Rody, your video that you released the other day on our socials was a great example of how to get them back to the deep quickly, but dropping down dead baits, old pillies, these sorts of things is not the way to target kings in our view.
Yep, you're only going to catch snapper and they're going to end up floating on the surface, particularly if you don't use a Savage Tackle release weight, as per my video that went global.
Oh, bang. You're pretty happy with your work?
And I'll let you in on a secret. I was filming another reel today while I was making burley for KI, so that one could go global too.
My goodness me. Your head's about to blow, mate. This is horrible. Let's move on from that. Ella and Jack have been over at Port Lincoln. They do spend this time of year quite often over at Port Lincoln, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They go and stay in Jack and his family's shed at Port Lincoln. They went out fishing around Thistle one day and in a bit closer the other days, and I think they got 50 whiting all up over 2 or 3 days of fishing, which is not bad, Diz.
Yeah, no, it's good fishing.
But no tuna. They did also get some crayfish. I don't even think they saw tuna. They saw plenty of dolphins out around Thistle. But yeah, good. Fair to say they did pretty well on the whiting.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good fishing. But interesting. Yeah, no tuna. Probably were they in Jack's tinny or?
Yeah, they're in the tinny, so I'm not sure.
They probably didn't venture too far.
And it was Jack, Ben, and the two girls, so I'm not sure they were like hardcore
Tunering
looking for them. I think they were happy to catch some whiting, dive for a couple of crayfish, and have a look at the dolphins and hang out.
Yeah, good. Certainly. I think I might have been following Ella or Jack, one of their social pages, sort of some. Lot of dolphins frolicking around.
Yeah, maybe a seal too.
Yeah, actually, yes, I did.
And actually, we saw a dead seal floating off a Warina, just on a side note.
It's a bit of a sad one.
We were thinking about drifting a few little sharky baits nearby because surely they weren't far away.
Didn't have a big chunk out of the side of it?
No, we did do a little loop of it and it looked pretty intact. So it didn't smell either, so I don't think it had been floating for that long.
Yeah, okay. Right, Rody, yellowfin whiting. So as we heard from Josh, there's a gathering of information, if you will, coming up about yellowfin whiting. There's mixed reports. Some people are saying they're not finding any. It's a real information gathering session because there are some concerns out there that yellowfin numbers are low. As you did say to Josh, I think, well, we don't know whether Shane would disagree, but he's certainly cracked the code on him. He does a great job on him, and we do often see photos of him getting onto those lovely specimens in the shallows.
He certainly does, Diz. He seems to have them figured out. And something else he has figured out that we didn't ask Josh about these, but crabs, are they a bit slower again this year too?
Yeah, I certainly have heard people say they're a bit slower on the York Peninsula.
Yeah, they did have that Drossen crabbing competition though on the weekend, and there were some pictures put up in that. So
okay, yeah.
We should have done some research. Diz, you could have got on that one and maybe called him and said, "How did everyone go?"
Yeah, we probably should have, but. Just while we're on the subject of crabs, as we said, we're going over to KI next week, and this is something we have covered in reports recently about blue swimmers being caught over there. They haven't always been caught over on KI, but I am hearing from a few sources we have that they are getting plenty off Island Beach, but they are getting an enormous amount at another location. Starts with N, ends in a P and Bay.
Oh, you've heard it here first, guys.
But... yeah, look, I'm not a KL local, but...
No, well, you've just ruined everyone that lives there summer because they're going to have plagues of people going there for it.
We'll see. Speaking of crabs, so Dan, great friend of the show, the fishing guru, he does some spectacular gear. You want to get on his socials and follow him. He has managed to catch another crab pot.
Yeah, what's that, 2 in a week?
Yeah, pretty unbelievable.
Was this one on a squid jag too?
I think so.
He's got a knack for it, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's almost like he's using the squid jag just to hunt out lost crab pots off jetties.
He reminds me, have you seen those blokes I think overseas? I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone
throw
do
the magnets
The
in.
magnet fishing.
I love that.
Maybe that could be Dan's next side hustle. Just throw a big old magnet and pull in everything out of the water.
You could do a bit of magnet fishing in the Torrens. You'd probably just wind up with a heap of trolleys.
Yeah, car bodies. You'd pull all sorts out of there. Where would you go, Dizzy? If you were going to go magnet fishing in South Australia, where would you go?
I don't know, maybe down to like Port Wollonga or something where all the rich folk live to see if you can drag a few watches and rings out of the ocean.
Get a few engagement rings. Some poor girl's gone swimming just after getting proposed to and lost her ring.
They got the size wrong for sure. And they thought, let's just celebrate with a sort of swim in the ocean. Next minute, lost the engagement ring. Diz comes swooping in with his big magnet dragging off the edge. Oh, dear.
This is getting a bit silly, Diz. I think
is this fishing report or magnet fishing report?
I think we should wrap this up, Diz.
I will wrap it up. Have heard of some nice little catches of salmon in Southport. People down there having a great time on this lovely weather that we're starting to see a bit more of, Rody.
We are, Diz. All right, let's wrap this up, this fishing report.
Okay, geez, all right. Not like I had anything further to my story. So where can the listeners find this episode, Rody?
All right, Diz, we're on Facebook and Instagram. You know what else I've discovered on Facebook and Instagram, Diz? And this could be where we get a little bit more interactive on this show. Do you know you can send a voice memo?
Yeah.
On Facebook Messenger and Instagram?
Yeah.
Do you reckon if someone sent us in a voice memo, we'd be smart enough to put it on the podcast?
Oh, that's a great shout.
I think we should start to have questions.
Yes.
So if you want to hit us up with a question, we'll do our very best to get our tech skills savvy enough to play it straight off the Instagram or Facebook Messenger, and we'll answer it live on the podcast.
Love it, Rody. Voice memos.
I was thinking about this the other day, and I said, I reckon we can make that happen.
Episode 101, and we're taking it to the next level. Look at that.
Anyway, if anyone's a tech-savvy folk that can tell us how to make our podcast mixer play Instagram messages, hit us up too.
Well done. Thanks, Rody. Good to join you.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Okay, see ya.
Rody and Diz hope you enjoyed today's episode of All the Gear But No Idea. Keep up to date by liking and sharing us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can subscribe on all the major podcast platforms. Until next time, good luck fishing.